Hello, hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Louise and I like to talk about all things auditions. So this week we're going to be looking at the top mistakes that I see for people auditioning for drama school. So I sit on audition panels myself and I've been through that process both as an actor auditioning for drama schools and sitting on the audition panel. And these mistakes come up time and time and time again. So I wanted to outline them for you today so that you don't make the same mistake. Now, drama school audition season is coming up, so applications will be opening at the end of September for most schools. So that's when people are going to start to want to get their material together and get kind of practicing and knowing that their self-tape auditions are going to be coming up for the first round. If you are one of them, then know that I offer one-to-one tutoring, one-to-one coaching to help you kind of figure out what your repertoire is, rehearse it, get it nice and free, as well as audition preparation for the interview stage, any sight reading that comes up, duologues, and talking through things like movement workshops, voice workshops, anything that you're going to come up against in a drama school audition, both for self-taping and for in-person. If you are interested in doing some coaching with me, then just follow the link below to the website. You can read through all of the material there. It gives you loads and loads of insight about what I actually do, what kind of sessions I provide, all of that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in kind of setting yourself apart from other people who aren't getting coaching to kind of really get you in the door, then get in touch. I'd love to speak to you. And also I am running a sight reading workshop on Thursday the 15th of September, so that's next week, at 6 p.m. It's going to be a 2-hour workshop on sight reading, so actually sight reading for actors, how to approach it, things to look out for, why it's asked for, and the technique of actually pulling text off of a page and getting it out there for an audience. Again, if this is something that you're interested in, there is a link for that below as well. You can sign up. If you actually go to the website and you sign up for the newsletter, then you will get 50% discount. You'll get half off on the sight reading workshops. That's well worth doing as well. But without further ado, let's get on with the top mistakes that I find for drama school auditions. So the first mistake that I always see is people not reading the play. So obviously you're going to be bringing in monologues that are both classical and contemporary from contemporary plays or classical plays, but just reading the monologue and not actually reading the entire play. That is a massive mistake, especially when you get into rounds where you've got recalls and redirection within those, because it will be really obvious to an audition panel that you haven't read the play because you don't know the context. You really need to know what happens before the monologue is actually spoken, what is gearing you up to that, so that you're not just playing the monologue in isolation. You need to know who the character is, what the setup is, the relationship to the person that you're speaking to. And if you don't know those things, then it will be very clear. And if there is redirection that happens where the audition panel will actually give you instructions or guidance or notes, if they want a kind of conversation about who the character is and what you're up to, and you don't have answers for them, it's going to really show that you didn't put the work in, the necessary work in behind the scenes to actually bring into an audition. So they're going to start to doubt whether you're actually fully committed to being a drama school student or not. So just make sure that you always avoid that and read the full play, know the context, know what happens before and after the monologue, so that you can actually speak about it freely, and that you're actually making choices with your monologue in accordance with the evidence within the text that you've actually read from the full way through the play. Mistake number 2, not applying when you are ready, or rather not applying when you're prepared. So these days with drama school auditions, the standard first round audition will be a self-tape, which will be a recorded tape of you doing your monologues or your duologues or whatever they're requesting from you at home via your phone or a camera that you then send in for them to review. So that's the self-tape, and that is our first round audition. That's kind of the port of call, the standard for drama school auditions these days. And what tends to happen, regardless of whether you apply through UCAS or you apply directly to the school, there's usually, from the time that they accept the application, you usually have a 2 to 4 week window where they will offer you a deadline for your tape to be submitted. So if you are applying and then 2 weeks later you have a deadline and you're not prepared, if you don't have all of your monologues chosen and prepped and you don't know what you're doing with your self-tape and everything just seems like a bit of a fluster, then that's really not good news. So you want to be making sure that when you actually apply, when you click submit on your application, you have your monologues prepared, you know what you're doing, and you're just waiting for them to give you the instructions of where to submit, how to submit, and all of that kind of stuff. Your self-tape, where you're supposed to be submitting that as opposed to the application. So make sure that you're actually fully prepared before you submit your application to a drama school. Mistake number 3 is not having backup material. So with most drama schools, they usually request a contemporary speech and a classical speech, so one of each. There are different schools that have different methods. Some schools will request maybe 2 classical speeches and no contemporaries, or 2 contemporary speeches, or a choice of whatever you want. But the standard tends to be 1 classical and 1 contemporary. Now, if you use those for your first round and say you get a recall audition, and you do the same speeches for your recall audition, and they're like, oh, we want to kind of see something else from you, a different kind of element of what you can bring to the party, what you can actually kind of show within your range. And then they might ask, have you got anything else? Now, if you don't have any other monologues, any other backup material, then you miss that opportunity of showing them something that they hadn't necessarily requested, but in the heat of the moment go, oh, I'd really like to see something else from you. And if you don't have anything there, then that's going to be really, really tricky for them to make an informed decision. So what I always recommend doing is actually having 4 speeches in total. 2 contemporary and 2 classical, making sure that they contrast, so that they're not just all very, very happy and comedic or very, very sad and dramatic. Making sure that you've got a nice kind of range of different energies and different flows and different kind of styles within your speech repertoire, within your kind of group of little speeches. And what that means is when you go in for an audition, it means you get to choose what you do in the moment. You're not just kind of restricted to the 2 that you've prepared. You can kind of go, oh, I fancy doing this classical today instead of my other one, or I quite like doing this combination, and that kind of feels right for this school or just for where I'm feeling today. So actually having more of a group or a repertoire of material is gonna really, really stand you in good stead when you go into recall auditions. So I always say have 4 2 contemporary and 2 classical speeches. Mistake number 4, and it's a massive pet peeve of mine and something that I kind of talk about a lot when we go into rehearsals if I'm directing a play or if I'm just teaching a class, is this idea of apologizing. Now, apologizing in drama school auditions can come in loads of different ways. So I often find, especially if you're doing sight reading, or if you feel like you've made a mistake or you don't fully understand, or that you're kind of taking too long or something like that, the really easy kind of impulsive thing for people to do is apologize, say, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, oh, I'm sorry, oh, I made a mistake, or I'm really, really sorry, and just constantly apologizing, actually kind of vocalizing their apology, when you haven't done anything wrong. And actually apologizing says so much more about how you feel about yourself within this environment. We often talk about this idea of status, and the fact that status in an audition room, everybody kind of thinks that the panel has status, or that they have power over you, and you coming in as an auditionee, as an applicant, that you have very, very little status, when in fact you're both, the panel and yourself, are on equal playing fields. You're auditioning the school as much as the school is auditioning you. So you're actually there to collaborate, you're equals. So if you're constantly apologizing and making out that you're not worthy of being there, you feel uncomfortable, you're inconveniencing the panel, then that's not really going to help you get to a stage where you feel like you're collaborating and navigating the audition as an equal. So my big no is just don't apologize. Don't feel like you're inconveniencing your panel. And if a mistake happens, then a mistake happens. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Especially in drama school auditions, the panels know that you are nervous, and with nerves come mistakes, and that's absolutely fine, okay? You don't have to apologize. It's a wasted exercise. So kind of really stick to your guns, know what you're doing, and even if something messes up, you can acknowledge it, and that's absolutely fine, or you can just drift past it as if it was always meant to be that way anyway. But the last thing that you want to be doing is apologizing. Apologizing also comes in a different form, which is feeling like you owe the audition panel the time that has been allowed to you. So for most drama school auditions, if you're doing something in person or even over Zoom, you're usually allotted between 10 to 15 minutes per applicant, so per person, to go in, do your your choice of speeches, maybe have a little chat, maybe have some redirection, and then you're free to go. That's usually the way that an in-person audition will happen for drama schools. Now that time has been given to you. And actually, for most drama school auditions, you've paid for it, okay? There is always an audition fee that is attached to your audition, and you are basically paying for the time in the room. So if you are not using it, then that's just silly. All right, it's your time, so don't feel like you're inconveniencing the panel and kind of putting yourself to that very, very low status of thinking, oh gosh, I'm being too slow. They don't want to see me. Everything's kind of awful, and I'm just inconveniencing the panel. That's not the case at all. We actually want you to come in, take command of the space, use your time wisely, and use it slowly to the extent that you are actually getting yourself to a nice, calm, centered, focused place so that you can actually do your best work, because that's what we want to see. Mistake number 5 is not asking questions. So in recall rounds especially, you will find that there will be like a little interview section where they will ask you lots of questions, and then you might be prompted to ask questions in return. So that's an amazing opportunity for you to actually find out more information about the school, about the teachers, about the culture, about what kind of things they do, to find out whether this school is going to be a good fit for you. And also in the redirection stages of your recalls, if you're not sure about a note or a redirection or something is just kind of not clear to you, then you can always ask questions there and actually filter that into more of a collaborating way as well. Because if you're just taking on the redirection and going, yeah, okay, that's fine, then they're not having a back and forth with you. They're telling you to do something and you're just executing it, instead of actually bringing other creative thoughts and choices and having a conversation with them. So conversations happen through questions as much as they happen through statements. And that is especially true in the interview stages. If they are the ones just asking questions and you're the only one actually just kind of coming out with statements, it ends up being very, very one-sided. You want to be able to have a back and forth with them. So when you ask questions, you gotta want to know the answer. So when the questions that you ask, you've got to be really, really interested in finding out this information. So I would always recommend actually preparing some questions in advance, and not questions that you think, oh yeah, that'll be really impressive, that'll make me really memorable to the audition panel. No, ask questions that you want to know the answers to. Even if you only ask one question, remember, you're auditioning them as much as they're auditioning you. So you need to check whether this school is going to be the right fit for you, because you're going to be there for about 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. So it's got to be the right fit. And the last mistake that I usually see when it comes to drama school auditions is not having a clear why. So I talk to my one-to-one coaching clients about this a lot, really getting connected to the idea of why. Why do I want to train? Why do I want to train at this school? Why do I want to train now? What are the kinds of things that I actually want to explore within the industry, within my own career, within my craft? What plays do I want to do? All of these questions you need to actually ask yourself in depth in advance. It's not enough to just kind of go, oh, well, I want to be an actor, so I'm just going to go to drama school. Oh, yeah, I'll just audition at this school and that'll do. Audition panels will see that a mile away if you really don't know why this school in particular. And again, it's not about giving the audition panel what you think they want to hear. It is about actually saying, no, I've applied to this school because you do this style of training, or you have this opportunity, or this is one of your alumni and I really, really admire their work, and I would really like to explore the same training that they got, because I would love to have a career similar to theirs. There might be loads and loads of different reasons why you apply to a particular school, but you have to have a reason. There has to be a why behind it. The same goes for why do I want to be an actor and why do I want to go to drama school right now. All of those questions, you actually need to set aside some time, sit down with a notebook or do it on a voice note on your phone, but actually write down and figure out, why are you doing this? If you're asked in an audition situation, you've got an answer, a really strong, direct, concise answer. And that's what an audition panel are looking for. They want to be making sure that you are making a conscious decision about your career and about your training and about your future by applying to them. It's not enough to just kind of go, oh, well, I just want to be an actor because I've always acted and it's fun. That's not enough at this stage. It was probably enough for school or college or amateur dramatic societies, but for drama school training at BA level, it's not enough to just think, oh, well, it's fun. What are the reasons why you want to train, and why do you want to train now? So they are my top mistakes that I usually see when it comes to drama school auditions. Make sure that you're avoiding them because it will really set you apart from people who are making those mistakes. And again, if you are thinking of applying to drama schools this year and you would want some more guidance or some help with your actual monologues themselves or how to navigate auditions, then I am here to help. Make sure that you click the link below in the description and sign up for a 30-minute free coaching discovery call where we kind of chat through everything, what your goals are, where you want to apply, what you're hoping to do, and anything that you kind of feel like you're a little bit weak on or that you want to improve on, or things that you just don't know. That is free of charge, and then we look at actually kind of booking in sessions, etc., etc. But it would be lovely to hear from you if you are interested in doing some coaching. But until next time, I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then just make sure that you click like and that you subscribe to the channel for any videos coming up. But until next time, thank you so much and goodbye.